Okay, so once again, welcome everybody to our July Volunteer Fair. My name is Katie and I'm the project manager of Team Hearts Volunteering, and we're really pleased to see so many of you here today that are interested in volunteering across Hertfordshire. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a bit of an introduction to our organisation, and as I have just mentioned, the fair is being recorded, so if you do not want yourselves on camera, then please do turn your cameras off. Team Hearts Volunteering are funded by Herts County Council to provide volunteering opportunities and to support charities across Hertfordshire with volunteer recruitment and with managing their volunteers as well. We were introduced back in 2015 so that there's a sort of one-stop hub for all things volunteering, and we do cover the whole of the county. Okay, so today we've got 8 wonderful Hertfordshire charities ready to present to you, all about what they do, what volunteering opportunities they currently have available, and how you can get involved. So we're really excited to have a brilliant selection of organisations here today. So we're going to kick off very shortly at 12:05 with Just Be a Child, and we've got Lenka here with us today who's going to present on behalf of Just Be a Child. What I'll do now is I will share my screen and show you the timetable for today's event so that you can see what we've got coming up. So as you can see here today at 12:05, we're going to kick off with Just Be a Child. After that, we've got RSPB, Citizens Advice, follow them. The Motor Neurone Disease Association will be coming up at 12:35. At 12:45, we'll have MCR Pathways presenting to us, followed by Barnardo's UK. We've then got CVS, Broxbourne and East Herts coming to chat to us. And then last but not least, we've got Create Community Network. So that's just to give you an idea, a flavour of what's to come today. Please do feel to drop in and drop out of the fair according to the organisations you're most interested in. But I can reassure you that all of these organisations are really worthwhile and all really need the support of volunteers to do the amazing work that they do. Okay, so overall, as I say, we've got 8 organisations here to present to us, and we are going to be starting in just a couple of minutes. If anyone has got any questions, please do use the chat function to ask anything of myself or the presenters. Each presenter is also going to be staying for about 5 minutes after their presentation slot so that they can answer any questions. So as I said, please do use the chat function. The presenters are more than happy to help with any of your inquiries. Okay. So for now, if you're all set and all ready to go, I'm going to hand over to the lovely Lenka from Just Be a Child charity. She's going to tell you a bit about what they do and how you can get involved with their amazing charity. So thank you very much, and over to you, Lenka.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me to speak to you, and thank you for trying to learn about what Just Be a Child is all about. So Just Be a Child is a charity that rehomes books from the UK to predominantly Kenya, but we are looking at other countries as well. And we build libraries and distribute books to pretty much anywhere in Kenya with access to children. So from street children to remand homes to actually community libraries, which we create from our shipping containers that get loaded by volunteers in the UK once a year and sent abroad. So this was supposed to happen last Monday, but unfortunately the container hasn't arrived. So if you are, any of you, free on Monday and don't know what to do with yourself, we really would need some hands. So please do get in touch. But overall, we have a really wide variety of volunteering opportunities because, well, like many small charities, without volunteers, we wouldn't be able to exist. So we have Daily volunteering activities, we've got organized and we've got at-home volunteer opportunities, which hopefully will suit really wide variety of abilities. We have family volunteering groups, so children as young as 6 come to our site, and they all work together on getting the books where they need to be. But we also have a much younger, and when I say much younger, we design arts and crafts activities for children in Kenya. And if you imagine, they haven't really been exposed to cutting out stuff and using glitter and colouring in. So we're using really young children in the UK. I think our youngest volunteer was the age of 4, and she helped design little activities that we then send to Kenya once a year with our container. So we also have older people from nursing homes that are often bored and don't know what to do, so they make those arts and crafts activities for us as well. And those that are handy with a sewing machine, we have like gift bags that we donate or give or use as an incentive for the older community members who've never seen a book in their life and therefore can't really understand what a library is about. So as in, please come in and at least take a look. We give them a gift bag that contains a number of items that we have in excess, like book and pencils. So we need volunteers to help us make those books, but mainly we also need volunteers to help us spread the word, collect books, toys, games, and bring them to our storage space, which is in Ashbrook. If you are familiar with Hitchin, it's just on the outskirts of Hitchin. And once a week and once every Saturday, we have a collective packing day. So we sort and count and box and store all the books that we receive throughout the month or the week. And then once a year, which, as I said, was supposed to be last Monday, but it's now this Monday coming. We have a 40-foot container that arrives on site, and we have about 30 to 40 volunteers that come and load the 40-foot container with through boxes. So just so you can imagine a 40-foot container, which is quite long but narrow. Well, this year we will be putting 50,000 books, just under 50,000 books, in 1,200 boxes. So as you can imagine, it's a big chain of people moving the boxes from hand to hand. And I think that's about it. We don't have any vetting system, because anybody who would like to come, usually groups and younger people are with their own guardians and their own on their own rules. So we've got schools coming in, we've got church groups coming, but they all come with their own teachers or leaders. And so anybody really can volunteer, even if they have 5 minutes every week or 5 minutes every month. So I think that's it. That's really what I have to say. I don't know if I went over the 10 minutes. My thoughts are a bit chaotic right now because of what's going on with the shipping. So do excuse me for being a bit scattered.
That's no problem at all. Lenka, thank you so much for telling us more about Just Be a Child. And it's amazing to know that you're just on the outskirts of Hitchin, because I live in Hitchin and I had no idea. So we're also learning every day. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope everything goes very well for you on Monday. And hopefully a few people that are on the call today will be able to come on over and help you out. It sounds like a great mission. So yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Lenka. I'm just going to now share the timetable again for today, because I have seen some people have joined since we got started. So what I'm going to do is bring up the timetable so that you can all see where we are on the timings. So if you've joined just recently today, we have just heard from Lenka all about Just Be a Child charity, and up next we're going to be hearing from RSPB Rymeads. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today and for your interest in volunteering across Hertfordshire. We're really pleased to have you with us. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us here on this Zoom call. Okay, so up next, we are going to be hearing from the wonderful Matt, who's joining us here from RSP Rymeads. And Matt's got some slides we're going to show on his behalf today, and he's going to be talking to you all about what goes on at Rymeads, what volunteering opportunities they have available, and also how you can get involved. And just a reminder that if you have any questions at all for any of the presenters or about any of the opportunities that you hear about today, please do pop any questions in the chat, because our presenters will be monitoring it and taking any questions. So thank you very much, and over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Katie. If someone's able to share a couple of slides for me, that'd be great. There's only a few, so don't panic. So hopefully everyone can see that coming up now. But yeah, just very quickly, I will give you just a little bit of information about the RSPB. It was created way back in 1889 by a lady called Emily Williamson. It was initially an all-women movement designed to fight fashion trends, which at the time was great big exotic plumes of feathers coming out of people's hats, which was driving a lot of birds to extinction. So women were very keen on putting a stop to that. But since then and up to today, it's developed into a global force, which many people would be aware of now. There's over 1 million people signed up as members, donating money to the RSPB with the aim of protecting habitats, saving species, and just fighting the climate emergency. Obviously, that does generate a fair amount of money, and 90% of that income is spent directly back on conservation, around public education, and various bits of advocacy. And at the moment, there's about 12,000 volunteers working for the RSPB, contributing over 1 million hours of time. So we are pretty big. But here at Rymeads, we've got a 58.5 hectare area of protected wetland, which is about half a kilometre square in new money. And we're just outside Hoddesdon, between Hoddesdon and Stansted Abbots, on Thames Water's private road. You'd be amazed how many people don't know we exist that drive up and down that road every single day, which is quite interesting. But yeah, we're a designated site of special scientific interest. So there's a lot of conservation activity that goes on. We're part of the whole Lee Valley landscape as well. So anyone in the sort of Broxbourne and Cheshunt area will know that whole area up the River Lee as quite a big conservation area. And we maintain for key bird species like kingfishers, butterflies, dragonflies, and a lot of other plant species as well. And I mentioned there's 12,000 volunteers and 1 million hours worth of work. Well, here at Rymeads, we've got the equivalent of about 3.5 staff members. So we're a very small team of staff, and everything else that we do is reliant on our volunteers, which is about a team of 50 at the moment. And that varies between people that are here once a week, twice a week, to people that we maybe see a couple of times during the school summer holidays and things like that. And there's a variety of roles, all matched to different people's skills and different interests. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get involved with us. And to be a volunteer with the RSPB, there's no need to be a member of the RSPB. There's no need to be a wildlife expert. It's just about the enthusiasm, engaging with people, and doing your bit in helping the fight to save nature at the moment, which obviously is quite big in a lot of people's minds. The vast majority of our roles are all about meeting new people and getting them enthusiastic about nature. But at the same time, we like to help you learn new skills. Anyone that's looking to add things to their CV, looking for new jobs in the conservation sector, working as a volunteer for the RSPB is obviously a very good gateway to that. And it's exactly how I got this job. I worked in engineering for 6 years, decided that wasn't good enough, became a volunteer with the RSPB, and now I'm sitting in this chair trying to get more volunteers. So it does work. All of our roles are also suitable for under 18s, and there's plenty of different ways to get involved. So we get, the main thing for us is to try and get away from the RSPB's image of being for stuffy old bird watchers, basically. There's far more to Rye Meads than just that. Because of where we are, close to London, close to a lot of schools, we get plenty of families come in, and we also have a thriving schools on reserves programme. In fact, pretty much every day of the week, there is a school here during the summer, which is why I'm sitting in the workshop here rather than in our meeting room, because it's been taken over by a school. And as a volunteer, you could get involved in anything from standing on reception, doing the meet and greet role there as the face of the reserve, to getting involved with those schools. Or if you are a keen bird watcher, we're always keen to have people in telling us what's on the reserve and telling people what's on there out there. Because when families come in, we don't always know what people are interested in. We don't always know what their level of knowledge is. So having people out on the reserve, walking around and just seeing what's out there and then relaying that to our visitors, it really does add a huge amount to people's visit here. So on the screen here are the key roles that we're advertising for at the moment. The important point for these is that there is an opportunity to combine each one. If you had little bits of time here and there, you could spend some time on reception, spend some time outside, getting involved in some of the events and activities that we put on. So there's no need to pigeonhole yourself. You can get involved in anything you like while you're here. Different levels of commitment for each one, I will say that. There is some formal and informal training provided depending on the role, particularly for the school side of things and those reception roles. But there's also some ad hoc work that we can do. We're always looking for people to come in and help us do a bit of upkeep on the trails. Everything always needs painting. Everything always needs mowing. And there is really plenty to do. On the events programme, that tends to be geared around the school holidays. Our events mostly are geared towards families with kids. The most popular thing that we do here is pond dipping. So if you've got a few hours of time that you'd like to spend by the pond with a net, trying to catch a newt with some small kids, please come here. On the next slide is our contact details. You can have a look at all of the roles in a bit more detail. I didn't want to go through them in too much because I think I'd bore people to tears with absolutely everything. So if you are interested, the website link there will take you to the whole of the RSPB's volunteer advertising, and that will contain some at-home roles and countrywide roles across the whole RSPB, and not just the roles we've got here at Rye Meads. But if you'd like to, email address and telephone number there as well, and I will stay on the call here for a little while and probably sit and have a cup of coffee if anyone's got any questions at all. But every role that we have does have an induction process. We wouldn't just punt you outside and leave you to it. There is some little bits of training and little bits of guidance that we can give you, and reasonable expenses is also covered as well. So if you would need to get the train or bus or anything to get here, then we do cover that too. I think that's everything that I wanted to say here. And so if anyone's got any specific questions about some of those roles on the previous slide, then please do let me know. But yeah, thanks very much.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Matt. That was a really thorough presentation and so interesting to hear about how you got into your role that you have now through volunteering, which is often the case for many staff members within the voluntary sector. So volunteering is such an amazing way to sort of try before you buy in certain different areas of work. So it can be a really, really nice way of exploring different avenues. So Matt being a key example of that, with his change from engineering to now the RSPB. So thank you so much, Matt, for sharing your personal experience there. And just really interesting to see the diverse range of roles that RSPB have available. Just a reminder to everyone that's on the call today, all of the organisations you see here are on our volunteer recruitment website, which is GoVol Hearts. That is our special recruitment website, which is bespoke to Hertfordshire. So all of the roles you'll see on there are within Hertfordshire. So do have a look. There are over 200 roles on the platform with over 180 charities. So there is really truly something for everyone. There's such a wide breadth of roles available to you there. And in the chat, I've put the link to each of the organisations that we've heard from so far. Okay, lovely. So thank you so much, Matt, for that overview of RSPB Rymeads. And next up, we're going to be hearing from Citizens Advice East Herts. And from Citizens Advice here today, we have Esther ready to present to us. So I'm going to hand over to Esther today to speak about Citizens Advice. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me now? I forgot to unmute myself.
Yes,
so yes, I'm Esther. I'm from Citizens Advice East Herts, and we cover all of East Herts. We are part of the wider Citizens Advice network, but we are a local charity, so we fundraise for ourselves. We bring in our own revenue. We have volunteers and staff from East Herts. So we are very much a local charity. If you don't know what Citizens Advice does, we are an advice service. We give advice on any issue, and it is free, confidential, non-judgmental and impartial. And those are really our kind of key values, that we just want to be able to help anybody with what they need to move them forwards in terms of advice. And anybody can get in touch with us. But many of our clients are people who really are most in need in our society. And they come to us because they're either in crisis or they can't find a way forwards on their own. And we help them with issues to do with debt, maybe housing, relationship breakdowns, benefits and consumer rights. And we also refer or signpost to other charities and groups where that's relevant. In terms of impact, Citizens Advice East Herts does have a really big impact. Last year, we helped almost 6,000 people with over 11,000 problems and saved them a collective £6 million. So that's money saved in debt being written off, or benefits gained, or consumer issues. So we really do make a difference, and the volunteers are absolutely kind of critical to how we operate. Our volunteers are amazing. They're the backbone of our charity, and we literally wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. We currently have about 55 volunteers. And the main volunteers are volunteer advisors, and they are people who give advice to our clients, and they're supported by paid supervisors who are kind of available throughout the day for the volunteers to talk to in a virtual sort of supervisor room. Our volunteer advisors work about a day a week, either as a full day or split across 2 half days. And it's a hybrid model of working. So you can work from home, or we have volunteer hubs across Hertfordshire. So we have the East Herts, so in Hertford, in Ware, in Bishop Stortford and Buntingford. So our volunteers can really choose how they want to work, whether they want to go in and work with other people in a volunteer hub, or if they prefer to work from home and do it online. And we really want to accommodate people with how they want to work. So our volunteers, as I said, they're supported, and they give advice over the phone, via email, on web chat and in person. So we do face-to-face meetings, and we also run contact centres where we get out in the community, and people can come to us, tell us their problems, and we really help them find out how they can get the best advice from us moving forwards. In terms of training, I mean, we provide full training. I'm not going to lie, it is a big commitment. It takes about 6 months to a year to be trained, to be fully trained as an advisor. But you can start to give advice while you're training. So, first by email, then maybe supervised web chat, and then moving on to supervised phone advice before you feel confident to do it on your own. So you're really supported. We have an amazing training team. And so it is always achievable. And our ethos is really about, you know, we value our volunteers so much. So we want to really help and support you as you do it. We would ask for an 18-month commitment for our volunteer advisors. So in terms of opportunities, so we're keen to find, as I said, volunteer advisors, but if that's not for you, just still get in touch, because we have lots of other roles. So for example, I work in communications, and we're always keen to talk to people about if they want to do a couple of hours a week, you know, doing that, or going out with our community support officer and meeting people in the community. So even though our main volunteer sort of need is for advisors, we're really keen to have anybody who feels they can bring something and wants to help to be in touch, and then we can help find the right place for you to work within Citizens Advice East Herts. In terms of what we need, if you get in touch with us, and I know all the information is with Team Herts, then we don't need a DBS check. You'd have a phone or Zoom conversation with one of our training team. We'd have a couple of referees, and then we would give you a full induction and training program. As I said, you'd be supported throughout, and you gain new skills. I mean, our volunteers volunteer for a number of reasons. So it might be because they want to give something back to their local community and support people in need. It might be because they want to beef up their CV after a bit of time off work. It might be to support ongoing learning, if they're training to be a social worker or something. So there's lots of reasons why people volunteer with us. And we want to make it an enriching experience for you as well. That's really important to us, because we value our volunteers so much. And I just wanted to end with what one of our volunteers wrote for our local newspaper. She said, "I initially joined to gain some exposure to client-facing work as I'm studying law and have a passion for helping people. At the time, I really didn't think I would gain much more out of the experience. However, after joining as a volunteer advisor and interacting with the public, I started to experience a real sense of fulfillment. The opportunity to help everyday people with real life issues is a blessing, especially when we live in a world where it's hard to decipher what's real from what's fake. No two calls are the same, and I truly enjoy the variety. The training is extensive and the supervisors are supportive in providing the right level of support, as they enable you to grow in your knowledge and understanding of the role. Occasionally, a person's story touches my heart, and I can genuinely say the experience has made me a better person. Volunteering with Citizens Advice East Herts has really changed me, and I think I'll be a better lawyer because of it. Thank you."
Thank you so much, Esther. That was a really fantastic overview of how invaluable Citizens Advice is. And many people have the impression that Citizens Advice is actually a government organisation, when you are all independent charities in your own right and have to fundraise and everything else to keep your services going. So thank you for highlighting that. And just to also say that obviously in the times we're living in, with the cost of living crisis very relevant to everyone right now, Citizens Advice really is helping so many people to sort of juggle their finances and to find ways to survive in the current times. So a really, really invaluable and present charity at the moment, helping a lot of people within our community. So I would really encourage you to get in touch with your local Citizens Advice if you are interested in volunteering for them. So thank you once again, Esther. As you can see in the chat, I have put details of all of the organisations profiles on our volunteer recruitment website. Esther, I've just pinged you an email actually on how to upload roles, because I can see that your roles aren't quite on there yet.
Okay, thank you.
I've just pinged an email over to you with the guide on that. It shouldn't take 2 minutes. So yeah, so thank you everyone once again for joining us. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so I'm just going to give you a quick look into our website, Go Vol Hearts, in case you haven't seen it before or you've never had a chance to visit our website. So what I'm going to do now is just share my screen so you can take a look at what the website looks like. So here you should be able to see the lovely homepage of Go Vol Hearts. You can see that we've got lots of pictures of actual Hertfordshire volunteers. We have got Willow, for instance, here, Isabel Hospice. We've got Mind volunteers. We've got guide dogs here. We've got a local children's hospice, Hearts Inclusive Theatre. So lots and lots of local charities who need your help. Once you come onto our platform here, you can see that we have the latest volunteering roles. So these roles that you can see on the homepage are the most recent roles. They've probably been uploaded within the last couple of days. And as I said, we've got more and more charities joining to recruit through us every day. So if you're interested in volunteering, very, very straightforward. You come here to this I want to volunteer option, and then you can click on Discover Volunteering Opportunities. This will then bring up our search page, which you can see in front of us, and it auto locates to where you are based. So for instance, if you were based somewhere else in Hertfordshire, let's for instance say Broxbourne, you can type in Broxbourne, click on that, and it will show you the opportunities that are closest to you. You can amend the distance here, so how far you're willing to travel. For instance, if you're willing just to travel 10 kilometres, you can put that in. You can filter by any causes you're interested in. We've got lots of lovely colourful emojis here which you can pick from. So you can see animal, for instance, sport is on there, well-being. And then you can also select the type of activity that you want to do. So if you're a very hands-on person, you like to get stuck in, you might want to do something practical. So you can filter the opportunities by practical options that we have available. And then there's just a few more options here for you. For instance, things that are suitable for groups. You might need extra support. There might be, you might be looking for a child of yours, for instance. So it might be for someone who's under 18 that you're looking to support with their volunteering. So there's lots and lots of opportunities on our site. For instance, if I take all of these filters off, you can see that actually there's over 200 opportunities available on the site, 196 showing now, for instance. So there are lots of opportunities out there for you to get involved in volunteering. If you go on the site and for any reason you can't find anything that's of interest to you, please do just give us a call or an email, because we can certainly help you to find something else which might be more suitable. Okay, so let me just show you where we are in today's proceedings. We are currently, we've just heard from Citizens Advice. And very shortly, we're going to move on to hear from the Motor Neurone Disease Association at 12:35. After that, we've got MCR Pathways, followed by Bernardo's UK. We're then going to hear from CVS Broxbourne and East Herts, and then we have got Create Community presenting as well. So a wide variety of opportunities, some national organisations and some very local organisations that are going to present for you today. As I've said before, if anyone's got any questions at all, please do pop them in the chat, because our presenters will be staying for 5 or 10 minutes after their slot, just to keep an eye on the chat to see if there's anyone else with any questions that they want covered. Okay, so let's see where we are. We're going to hear from the Motor Neurone Disease Association soon. I believe our presenter hasn't quite joined us yet though. So if anyone has got any questions, please do pop them in the chat. We're just going to wait a couple of moments here to see if our next presenter is going to join us. So do bear with us.
It's stopped. It's something in there. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you, Ken. Do you have a question for us?
No, you just said you're waiting for us as presenters. So,
Oh,
and
super,
it says
brilliant. Okay,
you've disabled our video.
no problem, Kent. I will hand over to you now. Thank you.
It's okay. We should be good then.
Yeah, we can see you and hear from you. Thank you very
Great.
much, Kent. Please introduce yourselves and over to you. Thank you for being with us.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Hi, so Kent and I are both from Hertfordshire, MND Association. Kent is North Herts and I chair of North Herts, and I'm the chair of the South Herts branch. So just to give you a very basic overview of what the MND Association is all about, it's a national charity that was set up in 1979 and based in Northampton, and has 60 plus branches and groups across the country, where we try and look after people living with MND in our area. Motor neuron disease is a particularly cruel disease. The body starts to fail, but the mind is always 100% active, so people know exactly what's happening to them. There are about 6 people diagnosed every day in the UK. From a local point of view, for our local branches, I think North Herts have about 30 people living with MND, and in South Herts we have about 60. And we have various roles that we are looking to fulfill. Kent, do you want to say a little bit about what you're looking for?
And I'll just, motor neuron disease is not a well-known situation. So just a couple of points to add to what Hetty said. If you've not heard of it before, what it is, it affects the brain, or it starts in the brain, and everybody's body has things called motor neurons that the brain sends to your different muscle groups in your body. And the disease is a breakdown in that transmission, so that your brain stops sending impulses or pulses to your body in different places, and then your body stops working. So it's a crippling disease. It's terminal. It's not treatable, and it's a fairly rough disease in the sense that it changes your entire lifestyle. So in our branches, we support local people and their families, as Hetty said, with visiting them, with helping them get equipment, with helping them kind of make the most as they can out of their life as they go through this disease. So we do support the people themselves and the families all the time. And the kinds of things that we do, at least once a month, a visitor, a home visitor, we call them association visitors, will see their list of people and talk to them, help them, give them, if they need directing or a bit of advice, not from a medical situation point of view, but from a lifestyle point of view. So we keep in close contact with everybody that has it. We also have them share with each other if they want to. So we have monthly meetings. Hetty has a meeting in the south of Hertfordshire. We have a meeting here just outside of Stevenage, where people, including their spouses or families, can come and see each other, share stories, have a bit of a social time, understand situations more. And obviously during the pandemic, we had Zoom calls every month, and we're still keeping those up too. So we're trying to provide information. We're trying to provide care, reference points, and advocacy also, because many people don't know how to reach out. So we're the liaison between the National Association and all their information, and also then the local community that can put people on the street or on the doorsteps. We are self-funding. Every branch has its own budget and its own target. So a big part of our volunteer effort is to build awareness in the community and to try and raise funds through different events or different campaigns and so on. So we do spend some time doing that, quite a bit of time really. And so it can be fun. It's fun to do, but it does take bodies on the street. It takes, as I call them, arms and legs, but it needs people that can step up and go out with us into the community. Just as an example, we have a local or a new person who just started with us who wants to do fundraising, and they want to do a very particular kind of fundraising. So that's fabulous. So they'll volunteer and they'll lead that effort to do that work. And the other people in our group will support them, because fundraising is important. And if you've been in local communities, you may see people with M&D identification or T-shirts sometimes outside shopping areas that are requesting money. We're doing a walk next weekend around Stanborough Lakes and ask people to come out and just walk around one of the lakes and create some awareness. So we do interesting, fun things. And many times what we're looking for are volunteers that have a bit of energy themselves, particularly around things like social media and enabling fundraising to happen by coming up even with ideas that we haven't had before. So it's a kind of, it can be a fun role. It's not extremely demanding or taxing time-wise, because we are small organizations and we cooperate with each other and work together in our efforts in the county also.
Perfect. Yeah. So the recruitment for volunteers for all branches is handled by a lady from who works for the association, Carmen Brown, who's our area support coordinator. I believe, Katie, you've got her contact details there, so that if people are interested, she does all the recruitment for us. As Ken mentioned, both branches are seeking association visitors, and they get full training from Carmen to fulfill the role, and they can support as many or as few people as they have the time commitment to do. In South Herts, we're also looking for what we call a campaigner. There's a lot of money to be had out there from local businesses, from different trust funds, from Rotary groups, from Masonic groups, but it's quite time consuming to do the research and to make the applications to these people. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in that kind of work, we'd be very grateful. We'd be very grateful for that as well. In order to volunteer from a fundraising point of view, you wouldn't need to join the local branch. If there are young people out there that want to organise their own little fundraising event, we'd be very happy for them to do that for us. And we obviously have to do it under our umbrella, so to speak, so adhere to our guidelines. But you don't have to be a member of the M&D Association or a group to do anything for us. So we'd be very happy to speak to whoever's out there who has some time. Yeah, and as Kent said, if you fancy a nice walk in the sunshine on the 9th of July, we're doing a fundraiser, we're putting out a Herts County walk around the North Lake at Stanborough, and we've got lots of gazebos up, lots of information there. We've invited people to come and have a picnic afterwards. We're going to run a raffle, so it should be a nice afternoon out in the sunshine. So you'd be very welcome to join us for that. So that's a sort of a very brief overview of what we do and what we need. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for that wonderful overview. It's really, really interesting to hear about motor neurone disease and raise that awareness, and also make people aware of the diverse opportunities you have to volunteer. I have put the link to the Motor Neurone Disease Association page in the chat here, and there's 5 different volunteering opportunities live on the site at the moment. So please do have a look at those. And any questions, as mentioned, Carmen, the volunteer coordinator for MNDA, will be happy to answer any questions that you may have as well. So thank you both so much for that presentation. I'm now going to hand over to our next presenter today. I believe Ernest is here with us, and Ernest is from MCR Pathways. So Ernest, over to you, and for you to tell us a little bit about MCR Pathways, what you do, what volunteer opportunities you have available, and then also how people can get involved. So Ernest, thank you for being here today, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Katie. But I sent some slides over. I don't know if you are able to share at all.
Absolutely. We'll share them on your behalf. Bear with us.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. And a very good afternoon to all of you. So I put some slides together so that it would help to share what we do. So please bear with me. It looks like a lot, but you could do it in less than 10 minutes, really, as Katie shares it. All right. Thank you so much, Katie. So I'm from MCR Pathways, as Katie said, and our mission is that no young person should feel alone. And we would usually ask for people to volunteer an hour a week to go to school and just listen to a young person, really. Can you get to the next slide, please? Everything is not coming. Our vision is that every young person, especially young people in care, because we have care experienced young people who don't really progress to positive destination because of their background. So our vision is to help such young people who have a challenging background or from disadvantaged background, and because of their backgrounds, they did not progress to positive destination. And you made it our aim to stop that from happening. And we do that by the mentoring program that we've put in together that is running in schools. And the mentoring program is a one-to-one relationship-based mentoring program. And what we've seen is that as this mentoring program has been running in secondary schools, young people who have been enrolled or who have joined this mentoring program are seeing results in their life. School engagement has increased, educational attainment also has increased, and these young people who would usually not in any way progress to positive destination are progressing to positive destination, i.e. going to college, university, or going into employment. Now, before all of us, we can see in the slide you're looking at the statistics, of young people who are being looked after and what really happens to them and their peers. Now, the looked after young people, usually you will notice as far as school attainment or grades are concerned, it's about 7%, 7.2%, whilst the other is about 40.1%. Then young people that would continue to positive destination, you will notice that most of those people, that young people not continue on to sustained education or employment or training, those who are being looked after, those who are being cared for are in the majority, and that is 37.1%. Now, young people as well who are in custody, as far as youth custody is concerned, 40% of them are in care experience, and up to 50% of young people are homeless, especially those who are in care. So we want to show you what our program has done as far as statistics is concerned. So since we launched our program 15 years ago in Scotland, that's where we began from, and started working with young people in care, young people who have challenging backgrounds. This is what has happened. The young people who are being mentored, especially those in care who are being mentored, are currently having good retention rates up until 70.7%, and those who are not being mentored are still at 39%. And that is the same for attainment rates, those who are getting good grades in school, and is the same for those who are progressing to positive destinations. Because of time, I'll just go through the slide quickly so that I'll touch on our programming skill. So now these are some testimonials of what some of the young people are saying. I'll read one from Holy Road Secondary School in Glasgow. It says that it's mentoring is what kept me on in school, and majorly improved my confidence. If I didn't have my mentor, I would not have stayed at school and don't know where I would be. Please, let's go to the next slide. The next slide, please. The next one again, because of time, I'll just touch on the actual mentoring program. So this is the mentoring program that we have running in school. It's called a Young Heart Talent. Now, this program, as I said, started in Scotland. And the idea is to give the young person a mentor who supports him or her in secondary school. Now, the mentor is introduced to the young person in year 9. So the schools that we are working in currently, we have 8 schools in Hertfordshire that we are supporting. And the young people are identified in year 7. And in year 7 and year 8, we help them build soft skills, and we help them build principles that would make them successful in school and, of course, and in life. Then in year 9, we match them with a mentor, and the mentor's sole goal, responsibility, or purpose is to go in to speak to the young person an hour a week, and we ask for a minimum of a year, an academic year, ideally 2 years, but a minimum of an academic year. So the mentor just goes in, have a chat with the young person, and help the young person to find, grow, and to use their talent. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, as far as our work is concerned, we have done this for a couple of years. And statistically, you've noticed that since we started supporting young people and enrolling them on our program, is making such an impact and making such a difference to their lives. We are getting a lot of testimonials happening. So every program that runs in every school runs this way. It's a weekly, commitment that we ask from our volunteers. We call our volunteers volunteer mentors. They'll go in for about 15 minutes to an hour a week. Of course, they're allowed to, they can take holidays. They just have to let the young person know. And we ask for, like I said, a minimum of a year. Let's go to the next slide, please. And the mentor doesn't necessarily have to have any kind of training in mentoring or coaching. We offer support to the mentors that come to support the young people. And it's uniquely something that everyone can do, everyone that has a heart to want to support a young person to progress to positive destination, especially young people that are in care and young people that are coming from challenging backgrounds. So you have several things that we do to support the mentor in his journey to support the young person. One of them is a core mentor training, and we have mentor services, which is part of our charity services to support a mentor on his journey. The last slide, please. So this is our website. If any of you on the platform want to support a young person, we are glad to receive you as a mentor. A lot of young people that are in care, that are from challenging backgrounds, are just not progressing to positive nation. They are not identifying their talent. They are not able to, have self-worth or self-esteem as to what they can do in this life, a lot of them would drop out of school and would not, be able to contribute to society or even feel self-esteem or self-worth. So a mentor coming in, a volunteer mentor for that matter, coming into the young person's life, committing an hour a week makes a difference, to the young people that we support. So please, we want to invite you, if you are on this platform and you want to support a young person, the link has been put out there. Click on it and join us, support many more young people in Hertfordshire. Thank you very much. And thank you, Katie, for allowing us to present this.
Thank you very much, Ernest, for that brilliant presentation and very, very inspiring on how much of an impact you can have on a young person's life. Ernest, just to make you aware, I have seen that you've got 6 pending applications on Govol Hearts. I know that I've just accepted you as an admin on there, and Jane and who else? Jane and Carol are also admins, so you should also be able to see those applications.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ernest, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Without further ado, I'm now going to hand over to the wonderful Jenna, who's here with us. Jenna's going to speak to us all about Barnardo's, the fantastic work that they do nationwide, and also about the volunteering opportunities that they have available here in Hertfordshire. So Jenna, thanks so much for being here with us today, and over to you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here, and it's been great actually just hearing about the other organisations and the amazing work that you do. So is it okay for me to share my screen, Katie, so I can do the presentation myself?
Yes, absolutely, Jenna. I will make you a co-host right now. You should have that ability.
Yep. Let me just see which way I do this now. Okay. Just a couple of seconds for it to catch up. Can everybody see that?
Yep, yeah, we can see.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So I'm Jenna Dowell. I am a senior volunteering partner at Barnardo's. Apologies, my throat, I'm a little bit under the weather today, so I sound a bit croaky. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are. I'm going to tell you about our volunteers, why you choose Barnardo's to become a volunteer, current opportunities, and then the application and recruitment process. So who are we? So we have an amazing history at Barnardo's. We are one of the oldest and largest children's charities, and it all started over 150 years ago in 1867 when Thomas Barnardo came to London, and he was shocked and appalled that so many children were living in poverty and in horrendous conditions. So he decided to do something about it, and he opened his first school for boys, which was called the Ragged School, and he skilled them up with skills to enable them to get a job, as that was obviously a key factor in those days. Young people had to work. So on from there, he opened up a girls' school in Barkingside in London, which is where our head office is, and did the same for the girls, but also protected them from a lot of sexual exploitation that was going on in the days as well. And obviously the organisation grew massively, and he opened the care homes, which is what we're well known for, but they don't exist anymore. And he was committed to transforming the lives of children and young people. So 150 years ago, he believed that with the right help and opportunities, children can change their lives and reach their potential. He committed to supporting the most vulnerable children in society, regardless of their age, their circumstances, their gender, their background. And that sentiment is still true today. So our purpose is to transform the lives of children and young people. And we do really hold those values really strong still to this day. How do we do that today? So we do that through our retail stores. So we have over 600 retail stores across the UK, raising funds. We have a fantastic fundraising department, and we have our children's services, which is our direct support for children, young people and families. We have a lot of specialist services across the UK, and we support children with mental health issues. We support families, domestic violence. We support families who've got children with disabilities, young carers, children in care. There's so many different types of services. And actually our website, there's lots of information on there about our history, which is really interesting, like I said. So this is how we raise those vital funds today. So a bit about our volunteers. Our volunteers are the heart of the organisation. We literally could not do what we do without our volunteers. We couldn't open our shops if it wasn't for our volunteers. We couldn't provide the support that we do to over 350,000 children and families a year without our volunteers. So they're very special to us. Our volunteers help us to represent the communities in which we serve. So in our shops are the hubs within the local communities, and it really helps us to understand our community needs. We have a massive, diverse range of volunteers, which is absolutely fantastic. And this is why I love the picture of the mosaic, because to create a mosaic, there's lots and lots of individual, unique pieces. And when you put it all together, it creates this beautiful picture. Now, that's what our volunteers do for us as an organisation. So you've got everybody with different skills, backgrounds, cultures. And when you put our volunteers together, you know, in our stores, in our services, it just creates this beautiful, diverse picture.
Sorry, Jenna, I was just going to hop in to say your slides aren't moving on, so we're still on the first slide.
Oh,
you
no.
may have to stop sharing and reshare.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay, 2 seconds then. So if I unshare, hang on. Right, stop share. Okay, let me share again. We're very used to using Teams now, so I don't use Zoom very often. So is it the first screen that I click to share? Can you see
that's
that
correct.
now?
That's on the right slide now. Yeah, that's on the mosaic
Okay,
one.
I'm not. So if I click that, can you see, has that changed for you?
Yeah.
So it's working now, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So that's the picture of the mosaic that I was talking about. I'm glad you can all see that now. So that's to do with the diversity. So another reason why our volunteers are so fantastic is because they help us to raise vital funds for our organisation. So wherever you decide to volunteer for within Barnardo's, you're making an impact. So if you're in a retail store, you're helping to raise funds to support those children, young people. You know, if you're in children's services, you're directly supporting them. So whichever part of the organisation that you're with, you make a difference and you contribute to transforming the lives of children and young people. So my next slide should say why choose Barnardo's. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Fantastic. So we want you to feel included. As I've said, we've got a diverse range of volunteers. You can start from age 14 in our retail stores. It's usually around age 16 to 18 in our children's services, and that's dependent on the needs of the service. And we've got volunteers right up where we've had like almost 100 years old in our retail stores. And, you know, we love the diversity that volunteers bring. If you become a volunteer, you get access to our internal vacancy list, so you can find out about any jobs that are coming up. We have a reward and recognition scheme for our volunteers to show that we value and appreciate their hard work and commitment. We have news articles and newsletters that we send out to our volunteers. So that will help you to see, you know, the wider picture, find out what's going on in Barnardo's and actually get involved in other parts of the organisation. We've got fantastic discounts for our volunteers. So we have discounts on theme parks and days out. We have discounts on concerts, like, you know, famous singers. And volunteers get 20% discount in our retail stores. We could provide you with references for any jobs that you're applying for. You can do your Duke of Edinburgh with us. So that's why we do have a lot of young people in our stores who complete their Duke of Edinburgh. And we're an approved activities provider as well. Our applications are easy online, and we will support you. So we, if you have any support needs, you know, that will not be a barrier to you volunteering. We can put a support plan in place to support you. You could bring a support worker with you. And also we are committed to the personal development of our volunteers. So when you become a volunteer, you will have access to other courses externally and internally. Let me click this on. So my next slide says current opportunities, if you can all see that. So we're focusing on retail and children's services. So as a retail volunteer, you will learn so many different skills: confidence building, you will learn customer service skills, supporting the store team to sort the stock and the donations, replenishing the shop floor, also helping us to find hidden gems within the donations that we can then send to our eBay store, our eBay hub, sorry, in Rugby. You will gain skills that will help you return to work, visual merchandising, and be part of a fantastic team and have fun, meet new people. We've got our stores currently in the Hertfordshire area. I do apologise, our Stevenage store has closed. I should have taken that out, but I just want to give a special shout out to Bishop Stortford store, because Lynn, the fantastic store manager, is really looking for volunteers to support her at the moment. And there will be links to how to apply for all of this. And then we've got children's services. So the roles that are currently available for this area, we've got children's activity support, family support, group helper, and a support receptionist. Has that slide moved on now to application and recruitment?
Yep,
Yeah.
just a bit over time now, Jenna. So if you could wrap up, that'd be lovely.
This is the last page. Thank you. So it's, like I said earlier, it's really easy to apply. We have an online application that you can track at every step of the way. Then we've got the selection, which is an informal interview, which is an opportunity for us to find out more about you and you to find out more about the role. In retail, we also have a taster session, so you can do a trial shift to see how that feels for you. With the checks, all volunteers need 2 references. They need to be somebody that's known you for 2 years, more than 2 years. But basically, don't let that be a barrier either. If anybody has issues with references, please let us know. We can support you through that. You will need a DBS for children's services. Then it's clearance. So when you've gone through the recruitment process, you are cleared and you get, you know, all these other benefits and information that I told you about earlier on. And that is the last page. I've put links here, but thank you so much for having me. And yeah, anybody got any questions, just let me know.
That's wonderful, Jenna. Thank you so much for that really in-depth presentation. Lots of opportunities to get involved with Barnardo's and such a fantastic cause as well. So do have a look on Go Vol Hearts and do reach out to Jenna and the team if you want to find out more about Barnardo's. Thank you so much, Jenna. I'm going to hand over now to Claudia, who's from CVS for Broxbourne and East Herts. And Claudia is going to be talking to you a little bit about their volunteering opportunities. So over to you, Claudia. Please don't rush. We've got the 5-minute buffer at the end. Yeah, over to you, Claudia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katie, and hello everyone. My name is Claudia. I work for as a volunteer coordinator for the CVS for Broxbourne and East Herts. CVS stands for Community Voluntary Services. We are a small organization that links and empowers community groups. Our role is to build local partnerships and improving residents' lives. So we support the charities and charitable organizations in East Harts and Broxbourne. And we also provide a diverse range of services to empower voluntary and community groups. And we run our own schemes with volunteers, and these are the roles I would like to talk to you about today. Amongst other projects, we run a community car scheme where we work with volunteer drivers who take our clients to their essential appointments, which are in the majority hospital and medical appointments. And to volunteer for that role, you obviously have to like driving and helping people. Our clients are mainly elderly clients who need help to get to their appointments because they live in rural isolation or there's no public transport link to their destination. And often they're still mobile, but often they need a little bit of support to get to their appointments. And we're always recruiting drivers there. And I'd also like to make a special plea for Bishop Stortford because we are looking for a few drivers there, and also for the Sawbridgeworth area, because those are two areas where we are struggling a little bit to meet the demand. Then we run a digital inclusion scheme. It's Hertfordshire wide. The volunteers involved in this are digital champions. We call them our digital champions because they help people with their IT skills who struggle to do day-to-day things online, who may have never been involved with using digital technology, and they need support with that. We run a regular group in our head office in Stansted Abbots and across other venues in East Harts and Broxbourne in cooperation with other organizations such as the NHS or church organizations. So we help people in different areas to deliver these digital skills courses. And you don't have to be an IT professional to do this. You just need, a little bit of enthusiasm, patience to explain, and an understanding of the general digital applications, and enjoying working with people to share those skills. And then there's a new project where I'm just in the process of setting it up. And this, I think, will be quite an interesting and exciting project on the Seal Farm Estate in Hertford around reducing food waste. We are setting up a community fridge, which I will require volunteers to run. So this is a kind of, if you're looking to start a project from scratch together with other volunteers and myself, this could be an interesting project for you. It's also in cooperation with the local co-op, and we are looking to reduce food waste by setting up a community fridge that local residents can access to get some stocks and get food, and hence reduce food waste locally. And there's a lot of scope in this project around working with allotments, working with local schools, and also potentially setting up information sessions around healthy eating and food waste reduction and so on. So this is quite an exciting time. It's all very fresh and new and will be starting at the end of the summer. So that's something you might find interesting if you are a local Hertford resident. Those are the roles that we provide at the moment, the way we're recruiting volunteers. If you have any additional support needs, that's always something we try and accommodate. We do this on an individual basis, depending on what your needs are, but we, as I'm sure many other organizations, strive to make our volunteering roles inclusive and engaging for everyone in the community, and therefore if there are any requirements you might have, this can be discussed during the application process, and we try our best to accommodate any needs you might have, for example around childcare or other support that you might require to enable yourself to volunteer with us. Then the process of applying is to, we probably share the link afterwards in the chat. Look on our website, there's an online application form that you fill in. Then we get in touch with you soon after, maximum of 5 working days. We'll be in touch and then discuss when we can get together to have an informal chat and carry out a DBS check. And also we offer ongoing support around your volunteering, so you're never alone on your volunteering journey. And yeah, I think that's a quick overview on who the CVS is, which volunteering roles we offer in our projects, and how you can get involved. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Claudia, for that overview. It was really great to hear about the work of community and voluntary services in Broxbourne and East Herts. As Claudia mentioned, the roles are online on GoVol Herts. I've put the link in the chat, as I have with all the organisations here today, so that you can have a look in more detail and apply to those roles if you're interested as well. So thank you very much for being here today, Claudia. We are just nearing the end of our volunteer fair today. Just a reminder of what we've heard so far on our schedule here. So we've just heard from Claudia at CVS for Broxbourne and East Herts, and shortly we're going to be hearing from Create Community, and then followed by that we'll have a bit of a conclusion to today's event, and some suggestions on where you can get more information as well. Okay, so we are now due to hear from Create Community. Bear with us, we're just following up with them now to see if someone's going to be joining us. So just bear with us one moment and we'll see what we can do there. So just to give you a bit more information about Create Community CIC, they're actually an organisation who are based in Letchworth in North Hertfordshire, and basically they support people in the next steps in their journey. So whether they're interested in getting into work, whether they want to improve their skills, or they might be interested in volunteering, they are there to support those people. The programmes and interactions are all centred around what they know works from their experience, and the latest thinking, science and research, together with just having an open mind and going on their clients' suggestions as well. They hope to re-energise and regenerate individuals, and they know that real confidence is built. Yeah, that's sort of a roundup of Create Community. What I'll do now is I'll put a link to their profile on GoVol Herts into the chat, They're looking for people to sort of meet and greet their service users, to make them feel comfortable, and just to be sort of a host and a welcoming face when people come into their hub in Letchworth Garden City. So if you are in the North Herts area, do check out Create Community. They do amazing work, sort of building people's confidence and getting them ready to take the next steps on their journey. So really, really worthwhile cause. And as I said, I will pop the link into the chat now for Create Community. So let me just pop this in. So more information on Create is in the chat on the link you can find there. So what we'll do now is I'll leave it for a couple of minutes if anyone's got any questions at all. I will put the general link to GoVol Herts as well, our volunteer recruitment website, into the chat. That just allows you to have a look at sort of the 190 opportunities that are on GoVol Herts at the moment. There are lots of volunteering opportunities to choose from, so please do take a look. But for today, we've finished with each of the presentations, and I hope you enjoyed today's presentations. All of the presenters, I think, did an amazing job, and it's really great to hear about the diverse range of opportunities there are to get involved in volunteering across Hertfordshire. If there's nothing that's of interest to you today, I'll be very surprised, but if there isn't, please do feel free to send us an email or give us a call. All the details for our contacts are on our GoVol Herts website under Contact Us. Thank you so much for everyone for joining today, and we hope to hear from you very soon. Take care and have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Katie. Bye.